Hello and welcome to Let's Talk Diz, a show that gives you everything you need to know to help make your Disney vacation as magical as can be in just about 20 minutes. I'm your host, Jeff Coviello. With me each week is Disney Master Sandy from Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services. Sandy, how are you this week?
I am pumped. I am going to be sharing something very new with you guys tonight. And while we share so much info, it's always great to bring something new and different.
Well, we've talked a couple times in the history of our program about things that are not necessarily within the confines of Walt Disney World or even the Disney umbrella. And today we're going to talk about something that is in the Disney area, but is not Disney. It's something that you experienced. I've never been. So introduce us for us so everybody understands what we're talking about.
We are going to talk about Gaylord Palms tonight, and it is as Disney adjacent as you can get. For the majority of you who have taken a bus to Disney or driven yourself, most of you probably pass this on your way to your resort. It is just literally minutes outside the gate. Honestly, it's closer than 95% of the condos that claim to be at the Disney gate. This really is one light away from the Disney gate. And Gaylord Palms is known for its convention center. They have about, I think it's 5 of them across the country. They each have really unique things, but suddenly this year, Gaylord is really kind of up their game in offering activities, and some are free, some are paid, but they're not limited to their resort guests. So I went to check it out.
So I guess before we really kind of dive into why you went to check out certain things, like you gave us the little bit of a breakdown is that it's closer than, you know, some of the condos that say they're right there. But let's give folks a really good idea of where it is we're actually talking about.
It is about 4 minutes from the wide world of sports, which makes it 8 or 9 minutes from Art of Animation, Pop Century, Caribbean Beach, and Riviera.
Right.
11 minutes from Boardwalk Beach Club Yacht Club. 10 minutes from the Disney Springs properties. So Saratoga, Old Key West, the Port Orleans resorts, and 12 to 14 minutes from the monorail resorts. It is a bit further if you are at Polynesian, Grand Floridian, Contemporary, and Wilderness Lodge. Definitely, if you have a car, obviously it's easy. But if you need to do an Uber or Lyft, because it is that close, it's not going to be that expensive for you. Definitely under $20 each way, and those resorts that are closer, probably more in the $7 to $10 range.
So you say 7 to 10 if you're in the resorts that are closer. If you did have a car, what's the parking fee? Because I have to imagine that it might be more advantageous rather to just Uber anyway.
So interestingly, they talk about their parking fee often. I actually called to ask them about the parking fee to get clarification for our show. It's $38 for self-park, $55 for valet. And unlike Walt Disney World, who does free valet parking with a handicap placard, they offer no discount with the handicap placard.
Okay.
So we obviously went to the show. When you get there, unlike your manned toll booths when you get to Disney, this is kind of a la airport style. You pull up, you take a ticket from the machine, and in theory, when you leave, you put the ticket back in and you head out, pay your card and go. And as we were heading in, I had a couple of friends with me. Actually, Mike Granero, who talked on the show both about his Galapagos experience and his Galactic Star Cruiser, went with me. Him and his wife came. And as we're driving in, we take our ticket and we say, well, isn't that interesting? We look to the left and the exit booths, the bar is up. So we said, all right, maybe we get lucky. At the end of the night, the bar was up. So we kept our paper ticket, went on our way, and we saved $38. But be prepared. I don't know why the bar was up. Maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe you won't. But you're right, Jeff. If you don't have car seats to contend with, you could easily Uber and end up having it be less and a little bit less walking if you're concerned about the distance, because it is a massive complex.
Now, you mentioned that you went there for the show, right? We didn't talk about this in the beginning. We just introduced the actual property. So What is Gaylord Palms known for other than the convention center? Are there new things that are going on there in addition to the show that you went to, or was this show really what drew you there and is driving some other folks there?
So I know Gaylord and have been in Gaylord because they are known in the winter for their show Ice, which we haven't covered in past years, but I think we may this year.
Okay.
Ice takes over multiple ballrooms in their convention center. It is freezing in there. You actually get giant parkers for loan when you walk in because any winter coat you have is not going to be substantial enough.
All right.
And you walk through these incredible ice sculptures, carvings. Some of them have been colored. I remember seeing the Peanuts gang in one, and Igloo and penguins in another. And then there's even a part with a castle where you can climb up the stairs and slide down
Oh, cool.
an ice sled. So
That's fun.
really neat.
So,
I definitely don't think it's an every year thing. As I said, I went years ago. I would go back, look for discount tickets. It can be a little pricey for a family, but it was a lot of fun. But then this year, I got a notification of something new they were doing. Sounds of America, a nighttime spectacular.
Okay.
And that's the summer show that they brought us. And I have to wonder, this is going to be a what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
It is a drone show. Does that sound familiar?
It sure does.
As in Dreams That Soar.
Right.
So as we know, Disney Springs has had a drone show every night all summer. Gaylord only has it select nights. It's 2 to 5 nights per month, 9 p.m. The show is free if you don't pay for your parking.
Right.
8.5 minutes long, a salute to America. 200 drones take the sky. We had dinner first, which I'll talk about a little later in the show. Caught the show after. I was surprised how empty the show was. I would say maybe 200 to 300 people. There's a big lawn where people were sitting on the grass. There's some walls around it. People were sitting on it. There's a couple of steps up to a higher balcony where we sat. Plenty of personal space, plenty of room. They probably could have had 6 to 10 times the amount of people, and it didn't matter. So 8.5 minutes of patriotic shows. Look up high in the sky and see everything from a horse sporting an American flag to a flag to like a drum from a fife and drum corps, and a great tribute to America.
Well, you mentioned that they did it multiple times per month. Obviously, this sounds like it's a summer type of show, as you said. So what happens now that we're exiting the summer?
I'm excited to say that they just announced a fall show, a spooktacular symphony in the sky.
Okay.
And this, again, is going to be 200 drones synchronized to paint a palette of color and animation to celebrate the autumn season. So we'll see exactly what that brings. Again, it's going to be 9:00 at night. We'll put in our show notes the select nights as well as a link to the show. They're also bringing a couple of other things for the fall season. Again, some are paid, some are free. They're doing a fall monster bash, a jack-o'-lantern walk, and trick-or-treating on Saturdays in late September and all of October.
So really leaning into that fall theme, which is cool. I guess my question to you is, because we did cover the drone show that was at Disney Springs. So this is a Disney show. Let's compare it. Like, where do you think it fell in comparison to what we see at Disney Springs?
So I guess I'll extend my apologies to Gaylord and their drone team before I give you an answer. If you've never seen a drone show, there were plenty of oohs and ahs, and it was very neat, very cool.
Right.
However, if you've seen the show in Disney Springs, it's 10 minutes long. I don't know that the extra minute and a half is a make or break, but I will tell you, if I hadn't been timing the Disney show, I would swear that it was substantially longer than the one at Gaylord.
Okay.
Because they could do so much more. The Gaylord show, as I mentioned, had 200 drones. The Disney show has 800 drones.
Right. It's got 4 times the amount.
So 4 times the drones is spectacular. One of the things with a drone show, if you've never seen one, the sky is kind of dark. Each drone has one light lit. Sometimes they start them all in white. Sometimes they start them in various colors. And you see these tiny specks of light in the sky. So you know something's about to happen. But all of a sudden, you can see the specks kind of flying around, and they move around, and the whole sky lights up, and they've made this formation. And then, to kind of synchronize to the music and stretch the show, quite frankly, and carefully use the battery life on the drones, they start to rotate them to kind of show how 3D the items can be. And again, in fairness, when you have 800 drones, you can have partner items. For instance, we saw Eva with Wally. And so the 2 characters could interact with each other. And when they moved, you kind of saw them dance. When they rotate a drum, it's not so exciting. I would have liked to have seen them maybe play the drumsticks.
Right.
But I can't imagine. I have seen one show when I was watching all the Great Christmas Light Fights about what goes into programming these. And it is incredible. So the more impressive show, it's Disney's. I can't say it's not. But again, they're working with 4 times the items. They have a lot more IP, as we've talked about. So you have a connection to the show. However, maybe you have somebody in your family who really doesn't do crowds. And so they enjoy these things, where they don't like the extra noise of 1,000 people around them. This is definitely the spot to go. And it is a good show to watch. I don't want to dissuade anybody. But yes, if you're comparing them, 200 to 800 almost becomes really no contest.
Well, you mentioned the crowds, and it's the second time that you've kind of brought it up. So my question to you, I guess, really is, and maybe it's impossible to tell this, but do you think that the majority of the viewing audience at the Gaylord show were staying on property? Do you think that they draw a big crowd from outside? Because obviously Disney Springs is drawing from not only the Disney properties, but anybody in the area.
I do think it's more hotel guests. Again, I'm very obviously tuned into Orlando. I'm there every 3 to 5 weeks. My news feed is filled with ads for Disney, Universal, and some new animal park with otters that you can go see. I think Gaylord isn't spending to advertise because this happened for 7 weeks without my knowing it was there.
Got it. Okay.
And so if I don't know it was there, I'm not saying I'm all that.
No, but you're kind of falling into it otherwise.
Right. If they were doing targeted marketing, even if they did geo-fenced marketing, I would have been there twice to have been geo-fenced. So I think the advertising isn't there. I'm not sure whether that's on purpose or not.
Right. Okay. Well, once you're there, I guess my questions are, what else do you need to know to make sure that you're finding this, you're sitting in the right spot, etc.?
It is incredibly hard to find if you don't know where you're going, because until those drones take the sky, there isn't a single sign or mention of it anywhere.
Okay. Well, that's difficult.
So we came in again through the public parking lot on the convention side. We walked past the pool to the Wreckers Sports Bar, where we had among the worst dinners of my life.
Oh, that's not good.
I shouldn't say that. We had a great dinner. We had horrible service and almost missed the show.
Okay.
And then if you just skip the dinner, walk right past the Wreckers Sports Bar, that can be the signage that you're looking for.
Right.
You're headed to the Kokini lawn.
Okay.
And again, you're going to get there. And if you're early, it is a lawn. That is really all it is. There's not plants on it. There's some highlighting, but there's no sign that says like drone show here.
Right. But
So
the lawn is where the seating is. You're sitting on the grass.
you can sit on the lawn itself. You can sit on any of the patios surrounding the lawn. Again, it's the great thing about drone shows and fireworks versus stage shows. It doesn't matter if the person in front of you is tall, you're looking up.
Okay.
And again, because you have that personal space, it's not like watching a show where you can't see in front of you because you had several feet in front of you unless you chose not to.
Right. Okay. Well, listen, we had talked about the summer show and then they're making way for their fall show. So what else is coming to this particular property?
They've got several escape rooms and scavenger hunts going. The scavenger hunts are free, escape rooms are not, where you can hunt through the lobby. So a great rainy day activity.
Right.
Also, another good rainy day activity and free is a wildlife rescue. You put the app on your phone, you hunt through the locations in the atrium to learn about exotic animals.
Fun. And what about that ice show that you had mentioned? Like, when does that run? Because obviously, if that's something that you've done before, you said maybe not an annual thing, but they're known for it. So give us some information.
They are known for it. It is a time ticket entry, so you don't want to wait till last minute. It is November 15th to January 4th this year. This year, it's Gaylord Ice featuring Elf. I do believe the year I went was featuring Snoopy. But Gaylord also has done a collaboration with Elf. For the first time last year, they held an Elf breakfast. So that's something to look forward to as they start to come out with their holiday info as well. Lots of great options. Again, it's not far. So if you don't have a car, generally, as long as you don't need a car seat, these are doable things. Do I think you should do any of them at the expense of leaving a park day early? I don't. Do I think if you didn't get a park ticket for your first or your last day, depending on your arrival time, are these great things? They definitely are. And when you think about doing ice, try to do a weekday and a daytime. You'll find it substantially less crowded, making it much more enjoyable.
Well, and I think those are the tips that the travel specialists, such as yourself, can hit somebody up with, because people don't necessarily get a park pass for every day. So cool little thing that we wouldn't know about without your expertise. I appreciate you taking the time to go out and see it and to share it with all of us.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the week. That's a wrap this week on Let's Talk Diz. If anyone you know could benefit from this or any show, please share, have them like, and subscribe. And don't forget to reach out to the folks at Easy Diz by Instant Impressions Travel Services for any Disney or Orlando destination planning. Make it a great week, and as always, keep making memories.